August 15th, August 25th, September 6th, and 2 sets from September 8th.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, but I'll abstain from September 8th because I wasn't here.
Okay. Just wait a minute for Jill to get that in the minutes. We have an appointment for the Ashley Falls Historic District Commission. Rhonda, would you help us, please?
So at your last meeting, you announced the appointment request from Lee Batala to be an alternate on the Ashley Falls Historic District Commission. So tonight you will be taking action. He lives in the Ashley Falls Historic District and would be interested in helping that's needed.
I'll make a motion that we appoint Lee Butala to the Ashley Falls Historic District as an alternate.
I'll second that motion.
And that's a one-year term, Rhonda? As an alternate?
Yes, but I would have it expire a little short of 1 year, June, with all the rest, so that we can get them in the
Great.
cycle.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next, we have discussion and action regarding the procurement procedures for the highway garage designer selection process. And do you want to say anything on this, Rhonda?
So we have the advertisement will be live on Wednesday for our designer for the highway garage. And this will go along with it, showing them the procedures for which we will choose a designer to design the building for us.
So has anyone other than Rhonda and I had a chance to read this? Okay, so would the board like to, Rhonda, what's the date that we need to have this done by?
If you could do it Thursday morning at your meeting, we could hold off until then to get it,
Okay,
the final approval on it.
okay, so let's do that. I do see there's a spacing between 14 and 15, but I've read this enough times, I think I can almost recite it, so why don't we put this on our agenda for Thursday?
Okay.
And we'll go from there, and possibly any corrections that you have before Thursday, if you could just send them to Rhonda so she could have probably the best version for us to do a final review on Thursday. So this basically is going to advertise for our designer firm to do the initial work on the garage. Do you want to speak a little bit to that, Rhonda, and what will be like the next steps, like the committee, et cetera?
So that's the next thing on your
Great.
agenda is discussion regarding the designer selection for the highway garage. So the board will probably want to look at seeking letters of interest for designer selection committee. And that committee will take all of the proposals that we get in, read them, rank every single one of them, and then present that ranking to the Board of Selectmen. Along with their proposals, we're asking them to send their fee proposal in a separate sealed envelope so that that part of it is all done right there. And if the first ranked one, when the select board gets around to talking with that person, if the fee is like way off the charts, then you can move on to the next one. But none of the fee proposals will be opened unless you talk to that firm. The others will remain sealed and they can have them back.
It also is going to be, do you have a sense of how many meetings it might take the designer selection committee?
So when I did the schedule inside the proposed estimated schedule, I kind of fast-tracked it a little bit. So I'm thinking at least 2, maybe a third meeting.
And do you know when you might start these? Because I've been fielding candidates.
You would want to appoint soon because the bids are due on October 2nd. And so once they start coming in, you would want the committee to begin reviewing as soon as they could.
Okay.
So why don't we make a formal announcement tonight? Maybe we can put it under the news on the website.
Yes.
That we're looking for candidates who can make a minimum of 2, possibly 4 meetings. I don't know if those have to be in person or Zoom. We'll let you worry
In
about
person.
that.
Everything's
In person. This is for the highway garage. Does the board wish to talk about any preferred qualifications for those folks?
The other thing you might want to talk about tonight is how many people you see sitting on that committee.
Well, 5 is usually a pretty good number to get
5
work
is
done.
good.
5
7
good.
is too much, 3 is too little.
Okay.
Are you good with 5?
I'm good with 5.
Okay, so let's go back to, and that also can be a selectman.
Are you planning to
Okay.
be on that committee?
I would be interested.
That would be good, Bob. You've done a lot here, and you've done a lot before we've even gotten to this point. Yeah, so unless we're going to hold a spot for a selectman, why don't we have you submit an interest?
Yeah.
Okay? I think this is a little bit more, at least in my mind, maybe a little bit more technical than building a building. I mean, but we'll see who comes in. It would be good if you do want to apply. We don't want to make this onerous, but if you have any unique qualifications that you want the board to know about, that would be good. And emails to Jill,
Sure.
okay? All right. And then we'll look to announce and make some decisions and probably appoint at our, let's see, our first meeting in October is going to be the 1st, isn't it? If I remember the calendar right.
Second, usually.
Is it the 2nd?
Or the third.
Here, let me check.
Yes, thank you.
It's coming to me. It's the 3rd, Monday the 3rd.
Okay, so we will probably be able to appoint, when are the bids due?
The 7th.
The 7th. Oh, well, maybe we can look and we'll think, okay, if we can appoint, great. So let's go with that. Anything else anybody else wants to say on this highway
No.
garage that's moving? All right. I'm going to hold, are we doing number 5?
Just for 5 minutes, but you should move
Okay,
it
I'm
to the
going to
end.
move that at the end. All right. Board member items.
I wanted to let you know that I did get an email from Chris from BRPC. He said he'll have me the HPP tonight. We'll see if,
I'll hold my breath.
please
I won't
don't.
hold my breath, yeah.
He said there were no other changes than what the board had discussed, the committee had discussed, so
Okay.
they would be fairly easy for him to make. So hopefully, when I get home tonight, I will find that in my mailbox. And then my plan is to just forward it out to the board members, and if they have no other discussion points, then I'm going to just ask that we forward it on to the Board of Selectmen.
And the planning board, so are you looking forward to having it maybe on our agenda on the...
I'm not going to make any promises until it's in my mailbox, if that's okay with you.
If everything goes smoothly from Chris,
Yeah.
what's your target to having it before the planning board?
My target is to have it to you, to the Board of Selectmen by the 3rd.
Okay, good. And then I think the planning board either meets that week or the next week. I can't remember whether they meet the 1st or the 2nd Wednesday. Second. So, good,
Okay.
all right. If we could get that wrapped up, that would be incredible.
Try to get that done this week.
Thank you for the work you've done on this,
Thanks.
including bird dogging it.
You had a little help in that.
Any other items?
No.
I'm good.
I just have a few. It's really kind of more than usual. I think we're going to get our bulky, rigid plastic container, bright red, our box this week maybe. I don't know completely on whether Casella's going to be able to pick it up, but it's going to be ready tomorrow for them to pick up. Also, we started the sidewalk replacement under a grant, and we didn't make an announcement on that, so I'm sorry for those who were caught unawares. But also this week, there should be the start of sidewalk replacement on Berkshire School Road. So those two, depending on weather and all the rest of it, will be starting. How about you, Rhonda?
I don't have anything.
So before we go into executive session, public comments.
She would be my cousin. She's got no comment. She's just hanging out with me from Oregon.
All right, well, welcome. George?
Yeah, George Rowan, Foley Road. It brought to my attention that an email was sent to the administrator's office, or whatever, for the planning board addressed to me about a resignation on the board, and it never was sent to me. I'd like to know why.
So it didn't come to the town administrator, it came to the planning board secretary. And that is not the proper way for an elected official to resign. They have to see the town clerk because they're elected, and they have to come in and sign.
I understand that, but it still needed to come to me to inform me that she was going to resign, and then I could have told her, you got to go to the town clerk.
So we told her to go to the town clerk, and we will make sure that next time that doesn't happen. That you
I
will-
mean, I hope there's no more resignation, but I mean, you got into the meeting to be blindsided. Would you hear anything about this? No, I didn't hear anything about it.
So to some extent, George, it was an improper resignation. So you're kind of caught, the town administrator is caught between the rock and the hard spot. Did this person resign and they just didn't know how to resign? And if that was forwarded on and that person doesn't want to resign, now we have an issue. If you don't say anything, then you have the comments tonight. So until this person, and this has always been the case, properly resigns, there is nothing said out of the town administrator's office. Okay? And it's probably better, rather than coming to a select board meeting, of which this board has nothing except to kind of to do with this, to just personally call the town administrator rather than bringing it to a select board. You can call her anytime.
I was in speaking with her on Thursday, right?
You are,
You didn't say squat.
because she hasn't resigned, George.
Well, you at least knew that she had the intention of it, that you received an email on it.
No, I did not,
Or-
but I knew about
Well,
it.
The issue here is no speculation on resignations, and the town administrator is not going to say anything until she has been informed by the proper person. Now, if it was somebody who had been appointed by this board, then they would resign to the town administrator. But for an elected position, they have to resign to the town clerk,
town clerk.
and which hasn't been done yet. We do not know if this person is resigning, so we're not going to speculate. That's the point, no speculation. So don't get mad at the town administrator for
I'm
telling
not
you
getting mad at the
what.
town administrator. I'm just saying, but it went, whether, who the individual actually received it, okay? It should have been forwarded to me, because it was addressed to me.
I think you're missing, well, if it was addressed to you, then why didn't she send it to you?
Because everybody's talking about the conflict of interest law, the open meeting law.
Sending it to one person, the chair, is not a conflict of interest. There is no open meeting violation. It's not a quorum to which this is being sent. It would be really good if people would learn the open meeting law. It would resolve this whole thing. This person has the right to send it to you. And then you can tell this person that it needs to go to the town clerk, because it doesn't do any good to send it to you either. This person can't resign by sending it to you.
Well, I realize that, and that person realizes it, but the notification that it's coming down, that it's in the works.
I'm not making my point. Can anyone help me here?
Well, what I was just going to say is it wasn't in the works because it wasn't being done properly, hence the reason nothing was shared, George. And you can agree to disagree with us, but that's our position. It wasn't a proper resignation, so it really isn't a resignation.
And again, I'm going to say, because you have a tendency to do this, if you want to talk to the town clerk about, the town administrator about an item, Call her, don't bring it to the board, unless the board, it says here, 3-minute time limit, only items under the board's jurisdiction. That's not under our jurisdiction. We don't need to hear about it. We'll read about it in our mail folder, if and when this person ever resigns. Okay? So it'll be quicker for you too, or just ask Rhonda why you haven't heard something. She would have told you the same thing. Okay? Do you have any other items? No. All right, so then what I'd like to do is I'd like to go into executive session for the purposes of negotiating with the Police Officers Association. This meeting, if held in open session, might negate the strength of the board's bargaining position, and we will adjourn from the entire meeting after our executive session. So I'm going to have to ask for a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Nadine Hopper, aye.
Bob Kilmer, aye.
Renee Wood, aye. And I'll have to ask everyone.
We'll just
We'll go in
just-
here. Yes. Thank you all.